for trend dealing purpose. Okay. Next question. Okay. When he stands on the left side of the pelvis, on the right side falls down. When he stands on the right side, his left pelvis is drawn upward. Now, on what side he is having pathology? Left side or right side? He is having pathology on the left side. Okay? When he stands on the left side, his right-sided pelvis moves down. That means the seesaw mechanism of the left side is defective. And when he stands on the right side, the left side moves up. That means the seesaw mechanism of the right side is normal. Okay? Now, what is the injury he has sustained? Right superior gluteal nerve palsy. So left side was the affected side. Left side was the affected side. And left superior gluteal nerve is the nerve which is injured. Why? Because it is supplying the superior this gluteus medius and gluteus minimus, which are acting as a power to this seesaw mechanism. Clear? Next question. What is the name of this cast? What is the name of this cast? Now, as you can see, the one specific feature, there are several specific features in this cast. One is that the knee is extended. Can you see? The knee is kept extended. Whenever we apply cast, which is a long leg type of the cast, which has to be applied above the level of knee, the knee is kept flexed to 15 degrees. But here, the knee is extended. One thing. Second, the malleoli are not enclosed in the cast. It is only applied up to the level of ankle. The long leg casts are usually applied up to the level of metatarsophalangeal joint. Yes? Here it is only applied up to the level of ankle. What is the name of this cast? It is cylindrical cast. These are two specific features of cylindrical cast. One, knee has to be extended. Second, up to the level of ankle, means above the level of medial malleolus. It is usually said 5 centimeters above medial malleolus, the cast should be applied there. Clear? Now, what is the indication for application of cylindrical cast? Undisplaced fracture of patella. Undisplaced fractures of the patella is the indication for application of cylindrical cast. Patellar tendon bearing cast is used for fractures of tibia. Please do not get confused. Cylindrical cast is used for fractures of the patella, while patellar tendon bearing cast is used for the fractures of tibia and not patella. Most common nerve injury. First of all, what is a fracture? What is the name of fracture and what is the type? What is the name of the fracture? Monteggia fracture dislocation. भूल गए? Monteggia fracture dislocation, fracture of the ulnar proximal end with proximal radial ulnar joint subluxation or dislocation. Is it not a Monteggia fracture dislocation? How can it? How is it? There is a clear-cut dislocation in the proximal radial ulnar joint. It is Monteggia fracture dislocation. What is the name of the nerve which is injured in this? It is posterior interosseous branch of the radial nerve, which is most commonly injured in Monteggia fracture dislocation. What is the type? We have also discussed the types of Monteggia fracture dislocation. What is the type? Type 1, how can you say it has gone anteriorly? Means, is there any reference point on the basis of which you are saying it anteriorly? अगर इसका हाथ ऐसे एक्सरे ना लगे इसको ऐसे एक्सरे ले लेते हैं. Depending on humerus, always take reference point into consideration. Always. Suppose if the X-ray is taken like this, you have to take a reference point into consideration. The humerus, the apex of the ulnar is pointed towards the humerus. That is, it is pointing anteriorly. Anteriorly it becomes type 1. Reference points are always important in the X-rays. Not a feature of unhappy triad of O'Donoghue. What are the features? Unhappy triad. What are the features? It is injury to the anterior cruciate ligament, medial meniscus, and medial collateral ligament. Okay? So these are the three components of unhappy triad. What is terrible triad? What are the features of terrible triad? What are the features of terrible triad? Fracture of the radial head, fracture of the coronoid with posterior dislocation of the elbow. These are three features of terrible triad. Fracture of the radial head, fractures of the coronoid with posterior dislocation of elbow. We have discussed that congenital dislocation of the hip is no more a term which is used. We are using developmental dysplasia of the hip because it is a developmental abnormality which is causing acetabular dysplasias. Okay? It is a acetabular dysplasia. Now suppose we are having two types of acetabulum. One is this, other is this. This is type B type of the acetabulum. Now out of these two types of acetabulum, type A and type B, which one is having greater chance of dislocation? Type A or type B? Type B. This is acetabular dysplasia, dysplastic acetabulum, which is not normally found. Okay? Suppose even at the time of birth, the patient or a child is not having dislocation, even at the time of birth, but he should be taken into account because later in the life, when he starts walking or when he starts doing physical activities, it may get dislocated. So we have to take this condition into consideration for further treatment or the future treatment. That is why the name has been changed to developmental dysplasia of hip, and it does not include only dislocation of the hip. A patient may be having dislocation, a patient may be having acetabular dysplasias without dislocation, a patient may be having acetabular dysplasia with subluxation. Okay? So we have increased the spectrum of the disease, of the presentations in case of acetabular dysplasia. Which of the two hips, left and right, is more commonly involved in acetabular dysplasia? Means DDH, developmental dysplasia of hip, is more commonly affecting left hip or the right hip? Left hip is more commonly affected. Any reason for that? Why left hip is more commonly affected in DDH? You see, what is the normal presentation? Normal presentation at the time of birth? It is left occipito-anterior. In left occipito-anterior presentation, the left hip is placed against the sacrum of mother. During descent, the left hip is placed against the sacrum of mother. And if this hip is predisposed for dislocation, that means a pre-existing acetabular dysplasia is there in that hip, then it is forced into adduction. Yes or no? The sacrum is forcing the hip into adduction. And if you remember the Barlow's test, if you remember, adduction was the maneuver for dislocation. So the chances of dislocation are more in left as compared to right. Why? Because the more common presentation is left occipito-anterior. So left hip is more commonly affected as compared to right hip. Is it more common condition of a girl or a boy? You see, most of the conditions are more common in boys. But this condition is more common in females. Why? Acetabular dysplasia is a familial trait which runs as a polygenic trait in females. Acetabular dysplasia runs as a polygenic trait in females. That is why it is more common in case of females. Next, in premature births or post-mature births. This condition is more common in premature birth or post-mature birth. Look, majority of the conditions are common in premature. Developmental dysplasia of hip is more common in post-mature birth. Why? More common in post-mature birth. Why? What is the normal done for the 38 weeks and 38 weeks. Suppose at 38 weeks what happens? There is increase in the concentration of several hormones like estrogen, progesterone, but most importantly relaxin. Relaxin is the hormone which is responsible for relaxing the interpubic ligaments in order to facilitate the descent of the child at the time of birth. Relaxin. This is the role of relaxin hormone. If the birth is, suppose a birth is delayed and the boy lands into post-maturity, what will happen? This relaxin through placenta will also reach the fetal level of blood or fetal circulation. There it will relax the acetabulo-femoral ligaments. And if the patient is already having acetabular dysplasia or predisposed to be having acetabular dysplasia, it may result in dislocations. Clear? So it is more, look, most of the things are different from natural. Like post-maturity, it is more common in post-mature. It is more common in girls. It is more common in the left side. Next, it is more common in first-born child. It is more common in first-born child. Why it is more common in first-born child? Why? Because of crowding. You see, in the first pregnancy, what happens? The uterus is less expansile. So less space is provided to a child. Yes? He'll try to accommodate in that less space by keeping his limbs abnormally flexed. If there is any predisposed acetabular dysplasia, where it is predisposed or vulnerable for dislocation, then beyond the level of normalcy, if he is flexing the limb, it may go into dislocation. So, first-born child. Then, oligohydramnios. Again, the reason remains the same, crowding. So, these are particular features. Why this DDH is particularly common in all these things. Again, don't run after that mnemonic. Some P4 or G4 करके कोई mnemonic है. This is easy to understand and you'll remember it throughout. Okay? In premature baby, incidence is high in post-mature one. Okay, Cousin test is for, we have already discussed. It is lateral epicondylitis. Finkelstein test is for de-Quervain-synovitis. Okay, Fallon test is for carpal tunnel syndrome. Fallon's test. Okay, what is the cause for the right foot abnormality? It is what is this? What is this condition known as? This condition is known as foot drop. It's a feature of common peroneal nerve palsy. Okay, common peroneal is not given in the option. Common peroneal is a branch of sciatic nerve ultimately. So sciatic nerve. What is the name of the splint which is used for this common peroneal nerve palsy? What is the name of the gait in case of common peroneal nerve palsy? High stepping gait. What happens in CPN? It is you are not able to lift it up. While walking, upon heel strike, there are two phases in walking, swing phase, stance phase. So in the stance phase, the first step is heel strike. Yes? And for this heel strike, the foot has to be dorsiflexed. It has to be dorsiflexed. In case of common peroneal nerve palsy, there is no dorsiflexion. There is foot drop. So how he will walk? He will walk like this. Yes? He will drag the toes on the ground. In order to prevent this dragging, what he will try to do? Okay? That is why it is known as high stepping gait. What is the name of prosthesis which is used for this? Or what is the name of splint? It is ankle foot orthosis, AFO. Ankle foot orthosis in case of CPNs. What is the name of the nerve entrapped in pronator syndrome? Median nerve. What is the name of the nerve entrapped in carpal tunnel syndrome? Median nerve. What is the name of the nerve entrapped in cubital tunnel syndrome? Ulnar nerve. Nerve entrapped in pronator syndrome. This is pronator, na? Pronator syndrome. Median nerve. Piriformis syndrome. Sciatic nerve. Myalgia paresthetica. Lateral. Chiralgia paresthetica. Superficial radial nerve. Tarsal tunnel syndrome. Tibial nerve. Okay? Bone mass of two individuals with same age is compared with You know what is T-score? What is T-score? What is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis, the basic defect in osteoporosis, you all know. What is the basic defect in case of osteoporosis? It is weakening of the or decrease in the mass of the bone per unit volume. Everything is decreased. This osteoid matrix is decreased, the calcification, everything is decreased. Bone is becoming weak. It became porous. So we have to compare this bone to a normal individual bone of 30 years of age. This is known as DEXA scan, by which we are calculating T-scores. T-scores we are calculating. Okay? Now, based upon this calculation, the scores could be 0. 0 का मतलब क्या हुआ? कि this woman is having exactly bone mass density similar to the 30-year-old individual. -1, slightly lower side. Okay? So 0 to -1 is normal. -1 to -2.5, it is osteopenia. -1 to -2.5 is osteopenia. That is a condition which is intermediate in between osteoporosis and normal individual. Okay, -1 to -2.5 will be osteopenia. And if it is less than -2.5, that means what? It is osteoporosis. Suppose because of the osteoporosis, the patient is having fracture. A patient is having pathological fracture because of osteoporosis, then it becomes severe osteoporosis. So these are the definition. You see, there is no exact, like you cannot define osteoporosis in the terms like there is a weakening of the bone or means you cannot write the essay. The definition of osteoporosis is T-score of -2.5, less than -2.5. This is the WHO definition for osteoporosis. So it is defined on the basis of dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, DEXA scan. Okay? Now what is Z-score? Or what is the role of this Z-score? See, osteoporosis is a physiological condition. Because of the, after menopause, because of the decrease in the concentration of the estrogen, the patients are having osteoporosis. Suppose because of any pathological condition, the patient is having osteoporosis. So based on T-score, can you differentiate whether it is a primary type of the osteoporosis or secondary type of the osteoporosis based upon the T-score? No, you cannot differentiate. Why? Because we are comparing it with a 30-year-old normal individual, चाहे वो primary हो, चाहे secondary osteoporosis. We are comparing it with a 30-year-old individual. So how to differentiate in between a primary and a secondary type of the osteoporosis? For that we are having Z-score. And in the Z-scores, what we do take into consideration is same age, okay? Same age, same sex, same ethnicity. Okay, even and same region. So same region, same sex, same age, same sex, ethnicity as well as region. Based upon that, we do calculate the scores. If the score is less than -2, that means chances are there that she is having secondary osteoporosis. Is it clear? Okay, because you have eliminated the criteria of being normal. You are now comparing a primary with a secondary. So this is being calculated by the Z-score. Thank you very much. Any doubts are there? Okay, please ask. कोई doubts है तो please. Okay, tomorrow discussion for the surgery is at 9:30. Afternoon medicine. Questions? And the most common nerve to be injured in Monteggia fracture dislocation is the posterior interosseous branch of the radial nerve. Suppose it is not given posterior interosseous nerve, then radial nerve is there. Anything else? Thank you, all the best.